Hey everybody, Greg Bosson, CPA here, and president of QuickBooks Made Easy for Nonprofits, coming at you with July 2024's first quick tip. These are little tips to help make life for yourself a little bit easier in QuickBooks land. By the way, I hope you had a good July 4th weekend. It was a long weekend and it was a very hot weekend, but and stormy here in Atlanta. It was very weird. This tip is specifically for those of you that are using QuickBooks Desktop and have all of these icons on your home page that you don't use and you want to get rid of them and you don't know how. So, and even if you haven't really thought about it before, it's kind of cool to get rid of things that you don't need, don't you think? So let's say, for instance, sales orders and estimates. These are things that most nonprofits don't need, but yet here they are as icons on the desktop. Well, I'm going to start by saying, in general, the way you get rid of icons on the desktop is to get rid of or to turn off the feature that it relates to. So if you don't want to see an icon called sales orders, then you need to turn off sales orders. If you don't want to see an icon called estimates, you need to turn off the estimate feature. So these features get turned on and off within the preferences area. Preferences are little features you can turn on or off. I'm going to go to the edit menu, which is where they are, and I'm going to go down to preferences. Now, there is a window or an area of preferences. These are all the preference areas right here. And you'll see one called desktop view. So if you're turning off icons, I'd start by going here to desktop view. So I'm going to go ahead and click it. And it's called desktop view because it's what you're viewing on your computer's desktop or your computer screen. And you'll see over here in the Company Preferences tab, which, by the way, only the administrator can get into, so you may need to get somebody else to do this, the head QuickBooks person. But in the Company Preferences, you'll see there's all kinds of things that you can get rid of. Sales receipts, statements, here's sales orders down here. Now, you'll notice they're in two areas. There's this area up here, okay? These are things that you can turn off directly in this preference area, and it'll turn the feature off for you. These things down here, you can't really turn the feature off in this preference, but what it does, say like estimates, it'll click over to the estimate area where you can turn off the feature. Okay, so I like to start with the desktop view and just kind of get rid of things that are up here that are real easy to get rid of. Don't have to go anywhere else. I can get rid of them right there. So here's statements and statement charges. Okay, that's not one that I mentioned, but it's one that most nonprofits don't use. Here it is right here, statements and statement charges. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unclick it, and then I'm going to click OK. And because we're making a change to this home page, it needs to kind of close the home page and reopen. So it closed the home page, and then I'll reopen the home page, and then once I reopen it, you'll see that the statement and statement charges is gone. So the main ones that we originally talked about were sales orders and estimates that I think most of you want to get rid of. And I'm going to go back to my preferences. And again, if you go to the desktop view and you go over here, they're down here. Here's estimates and here's sales orders. So you can't really get rid of them directly here. Rather, it'll take you to a different preference where you can turn the feature off. So in other words, estimate. If I click on this, it takes me to the estimate area, okay, which is over here. I could have just gone there directly. In other words, instead of going here and clicking here, I could have just gone here directly and then clicked, do you create estimates, and click no. So I'm going to click that. Either way, you're going to get to where the estimate feature can be turned on or off. You're going to turn it off. Click OK again. Sometimes it takes more than once. You know how QuickBooks is. So then I'll click Home Page. And now the estimates is gone. I'm going to get rid of sales orders too, because that's another one that a lot of people don't use. Kind of annoying. We got to get to them. We got to do this one at a time. The sales orders, again, you could go over here and click sales orders right here. But I'm just going to go directly to sales and customers. And this is where it is. Enable sales orders. I'm going to turn it off. I'll click OK. Of course, it's going to take a second. I wonder if I have to click OK twice. No, I don't. All right, just takes a long time. And then I'm going to go and click home. And now, there. Okay, it says sales orders is gone. So I'm not going to go through all the others, but I just want to kind of quickly make sure that you understand where to go to get rid of other things. So if I go to the desktop view, if you want to get rid of invoices, because you don't do invoices, you can uncheck it right here. But I just want you to know that before you get rid of invoices, you have to get rid of sales orders and estimates. Because if you have sales orders and estimates turned on, they're going to send the information to an invoice. So it won't let you turn off invoices until you have estimates and sales orders turned off. But then you can turn off invoices. All right. If you want to get rid of sales tax, there's where you get rid of sales tax. If you want to get rid of this purchase order thing, you got to turn off inventory and click on there, and it'll take you where to go to turn off inventory. Here's where you turn off payroll, and here's where you turn off time tracking. Okay, if you turn off payroll, it's going to get rid of the pay employees stuff, and if you turn off time tracking, it'll get rid of the timesheet. Okay, so I think that's really it. Make this home page your own. Get rid of the stuff that you don't want. Now, I will tell you that when you get rid of stuff, it's getting rid of it not only for you, but for all the other users in QuickBooks. So just be aware of that. Okay. The only other thing I wanted to say is that, and I've taught this a number of times, it seems like, but people always want this restricted grants. So if you still are struggling with restricted grants and you'd like to take a live course, if you go to QuickBooksMadeEasy.com and go to live webinars, you will see on July 17th, which is actually next week, we are doing a deep dive into tracking restricted grants in QuickBooks for desktop users. Okay, we're going to go through everything you need to know about entering your grants, pointing expenses to it so you can get reports that you need for your restricted grants. It's happening on Wednesday, July the 17th from 2 to 4. We probably need to change that. There's 2 S's there. $179 is the price. There's probably a little discount coupon somewhere that you can use to get a little bit of a discount off of it. And I hope to see you there.